Can we beat Elden Ring as a mage? Join me today as we embark on this magical adventure to find out. If you're excited to see if we can conquer the lands between with magic, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic content. Let's get started on this magical journey. How powerful can a mage really be in Elden Ring? To embody the mage I want to be, I've done my best to recreate a character inspired by Frieren. If you haven't watched that anime yet, I really recommend you do so. So we can't give her pointy ears or make her shorter, but if you squint just right, the hair and the face do bear a resemblance. The build I'm aiming for offers a decent damage, but it comes with a catch. We'll be vulnerable to enemies' attacks. Think of us as a glass cannon, so preparation is key. I started our journey by gathering all the golden seeds I could find. I even took down Kenneth Height since he dropped a golden seed. We will use those seeds to increase the number of flasks available for restoring our health and mana. Next, I collected the first half of the Dectus Medallion at Fort Height. After that, I traveled to Lernia to gather even more golden seeds and sacred tears. Sacred tears are essential because they enhance the health and the mana recovery from our flask. Since I can't take on Grail this time, because we don't have bleed damage as a mage, I opted to defeat the Black Knight guarding the bridge in Caelid instead. Using gravity magic, I tricked the knight into jumping off the bridge. At Fort Farret and Caelid, we retrieve the second half of the Dectus Medallion and grab our first talisman, the Radagon Sword Seal. Next, we picked up the Meteor Staff and the Rock Sling spell at the Street of Sage Ruins. The Meteor Staff is fantastic for the early to mid game, featuring a passive effect that enhances gravity magic, perfect for our gravity-based spell, Rock Sling. This spell not only deals decent damage but also great for staggering enemies. I also got the Rotten Spray summon, which is excellent for applying rot damage to foes. Additionally, I found the Royal House Scroll in Limgrave, allowing us to learn a few new spells once we've give it to a sorcerer. Now for our first official boss fight against the Mad Pumpkinhead. We summon the Rotten Stray and use our Meteor Staff to cast Rock Sling, taking down the boss on our first attempt. And as you can see, our damage output is solid. After that, we met Sorceress Selim, where we can exchange a scroll we found and purchase some useful spells. I returned to Lernia to collect the Intelligence Crystal tier, which temporarily boosts our intelligence to +10 when consumed from a wondrous physic. Next, I encountered an Erdtree avatar at Weeping Peninsula. Using Rock Sling, we managed to defeat it on our first try and earn the Opaline Bubble tier, which grants us a shield that can negate one enemy hit. Feeling prepared, after all those upgrades, I decided to take on Margot the Fell Omen. We summoned Sorcerer Rogier and the Rotten Stray for support. With the meteor staff in my hand, we cast Rock Sling from a distance and successfully took down Margit on our first attempt, earning our second talisman pouch. I headed back to Lernia to help an NPC retrieve her necklace from a guy named Bogard. To gain his trust, I needed to buy the necklace from him. This is not only helps her but also allows us to purchase boiled shrimp, which provides a much needed damage negation since we're quite fragile. It's crucial to do this before heading to Altus Plateau, otherwise we won't be able to buy the boiled shrimp later. Next, I made way into Stormveil Castle to reach the area where the ruler hides. Before confronting him, I spoke with Nefeli an NPC, where we can summon to assist us in our fight against the coward running this place. Now that we can summon a friend for a battle, we're ready to take on our first Remembrance boss, Godrek the Grafted. I summoned Nefeli and Rotten Stray for the fight. I primarily use the Rock Sling to deal damage as it's great for staggering the boss. With this solid strategy, we defeated Godrek on our first attempt. With the Dectus Medallion in hand, I took the elevator up to Altus Plateau, where I explored the area and collect all the golden seeds I could find in here. Since we can't upgrade the meteor staff, I decided to find another staff that we can enhance to outscale it. I faced the Demi-Human Queen, and upon her defeat I obtained the Demi-Human Queen staff, which has a decent sorcery scaling and is upgradable. To improve our summons, I ventured down to Windham Catacombs and fought the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. Using our most reliable spell, Rock Sling, I managed to take it down in our first attempt, and earn the Glove Ward Picker's Bell Bearing 1. This allows us to buy the Grave Glove Wards 1, 2, and 3 from the Twin Maiden Husk, which we can use to upgrade our summons. Next, I aim to upgrade our Demi-Human Staff, so I tackled the boss at the Lucaria Crystal Tunnel, the Crystallian. Still relying on Rock Sling, I defeated the boss on my first try and received the Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing 1, allowing us to upgrade or purchase the Smithing Stones 1 and 2. With this, I upgraded our Demi-Human Staff to +7, surpassing the Meteor Staff's power, and also upgraded our Wolf Summon. Needing a stronger summon for tougher battles, I headed to the stranded graveyard and fought an ulcerated tree spirit. Summoning our brave wolves, I faced one of the most challenging enemies I've encountered so far. Thanks to our trusty Rock Sling spell, we took down the tree spirit on our first attempt and unlocked the summon Banished Knight Oleg. I finally entered the magical realm of Elden Ring at the Raya Lucaria Academy. Before facing the first boss, I grabbed the Graven Skull Talisman, which boosts our spell damage. Feeling prepared, I took on the Red Wolf of Radagon. I summoned Banished Knight Oleg for this fight, and with its aggressive style, I was able to cast myself from a safe distance, defeating the wolf on my first attempt and earning a memory stone. Next, I retrieve the Radahn icon talisman to help us cast our spells faster. Knowing that the main boss in this area has a high magical damage resistance, I needed to prepare further. I went to the sealed tunnel in Leyndell to obtain the Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing 2, which let us buy Smithing Stone 3 and 4. While there, I also fought the boss of the cave, the Onyx Lord, and alongside Oleg, we took him down on our first attempt. After exploring a couple of caves to gather some Smithing Stone 5, I finally able to upgrade my Demi-Human Queen staff to plus 17. I'm now ready to take on the main boss of the academy, but first I need to deal with this pesky Carian Knight. With that out of the way, we can finally face our second remembrance boss, Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. In her face, I had to smack 3 glowing kids to bring her down. I threw a few rock slings at her, but it was tricky to land it and hit it consistently. Frustrated with the kids, I summoned Oleg for some much needed distraction. Eventually, I managed to take down Rennala and progress to her second phase. I made sure to avoid her initial attack, and with Oleg's support, I cast a few rock slings from a safe distance. Together, we managed to defeat Rennala on our first attempt. After claiming victory over our second remembrance boss, I headed to the round table to speak with the finger reader, who rewarded me with my third talisman pouch. Rennala dropped some valuable items and spell. I duplicated her remembrance, claiming the full moon spell and her scepter. I also snagged her hat, which boosts our intelligence by 3. I've outgrown my previous armor, and from here on out we'll be facing some hard-hitting enemies, so I need something better. I've donned the Carian set and Rennala's hat, so how do you rate this drip? Let me know in the comments below. I want to upgrade Rennala's scepter to its maximum potential, and the earliest Somber Smithing Stone 7 we can find is at Volcano Manor. To do this, I need to align with the Volcano Manor for now, so I can get the key to access the rest of the manor. First up, I faced one of my least favorite bosses, the Godskin Noble. I summoned Oleg for this fight, but the boss took him out easily. I dealt decent damage, but still wasn't enough. Deciding to regroup, I completed my first assassination mission for the Volcano Manor, taking down Old Knight Steven on my first attempt. I then equipped his armor for a bit of extra physical defense. Realizing Oleg wasn't the best choice against the Godskin Noble, I headed to the Impaler's Catacombs and Weeping Peninsula to challenge the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. Using Rock Sling, we took down the boss and unlocked the Demi-Human Summon, allowing me to call in a squad of Demi-Humans for support. With these preparations, I returned to face the Godskin Noble, with the Demi-Humans distracting him. I was able to cast Rock Sling from a safe distance and ultimately took him down on my second attempt. Now we could proceed deeper into the manor, where I found a seedbed curse, which we can use later. along with the Somber Smithing Stone 7. I collected the remaining Somber Stones and upgraded Rinalla's Scepter to plus 10, making it the best staff available to us right now. With 2 Remembrance bosses down, we can now enter Leyndell capital, but first we need to take on its guardian, the Draconic Tree Sentinel. With my upgraded scepter, I felt confident in this fight. I summoned the demi-human for support and started with a full moon spell from Rynalla. I dealt decent damage, but it wasn't quite good enough to bring down the boss. On my second attempt, I switched back to using Rock Sling, which can stagger the boss. However, due to our fragility, I still fell short. On my next attempt, I made sure to spam Rock Sling at every opportunity, managing to stagger the boss and create enough space to finish him off with one final Rock Sling on our third attempt. Just like in our previous run, we need a reliable summon who can tank and distract our enemies, allowing us to cast their spells freely. So I set out to obtain the best summon I know that can fulfill those duties. It's crucial to do this before defeating Radahn. First I faced the boss blocking our path to Ranni, the Royal Knight Loretta. I summoned the demi-humans to distract her, while I threw Rock Sling from a distance, eventually taking Loretta down on my first attempt. Next, I begun the lengthy journey to get our summon. I talked to Ranni and her crew, then to Celavis, agreeing to do his bidding and acquiring the potion. After that, I spoke with the Dung Eater at the round table. It's important to collect a seed bid curse to progress the quest, which we already have from Volcano Manor. He gave us a key to free him from his cell under Leyndell capital. After freeing him, I returned to the round table and read the Dung Eater's message, which directed me to fight him at the outer moat. At the outer moat, I spoke with Bogard, who warned me about the Dung Eater. I teleported to the nearest site of grace and returned back to find Bogard tortured to death by the Dung Eater. Shortly after, the Dung Eater invaded us. I primarily cast Rock Sling from afar and managed to take him down on my first attempt. I then returned to the round table to speak with him again. He asked us to defile his body, so I went back to his cell under Leyndell and found him chained to a chair. We had a choice to feed him the Seedbit Curse or the Potion of Celavis. I chose to give him the potion. In front of Ranni's Rise, we can access a secret room where we can find Celavis's puppets. If we followed all the steps correctly, we can see that the Dung Eater is among them. I confronted Celavis about his puppets, and he offered us a free puppet ourselves. We selected one at random and summoned it. I spent some time collecting 5 starlight shards across the map. Upon returning to Celavis, he offered to sell us some more puppets, including the Dung Eater for 5 starlight shards. Now that we can summon the Dung Eater to fight for us, I wanted to progress further into Celavis's quest to obtain a useful talisman. I asked to join his scheme, and he requested that I retrieve an Amber Starlight from Altus Plateau. After bringing it back, he rewarded us with a talisman, Magic Scorpion Charm, which boosts our magic damage but makes us take more damage in return. With the Dung Eater secured, I was ready to challenge our third Remembrance boss, Starscourge Radahn. As we enter his arena, I rode Torrent away from him to disable his bow attack. While riding towards Radahn, I summoned random NPCs to help me distract him while I launch a barrage of rock-sling spells. The spell was so effective that we managed to reduce his health to about 80% before he flew off. When he crashed back down, I unleashed a fury of rock slings, finally delivering the defeat that the great General Radahn deserves. With access to Leyndell capital, I retrieved the Ritual Shield Talisman, which grants us a damage defense when our health is full. Feeling ready, I challenged Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. I summoned the Dung Eater for this fight, and with his help, I was able to cast my spells freely. We managed to take down the boss on our first attempt, earning our fourth and final talisman pouch. Since I'm planning to pursue Ranni's ending in this run, I continued her quest by heading down to Nokran's Eternal City. Along the way, I fought our Mimic and took it down on my first attempt. I retrieved the death dagger that Ranni used to assassinate Godwyn and presented it to her. In return, she gave us a key item to use on her tower. I then traveled down her tower and collected the Rune of Death. After that, I teleported to another section of Nokran, where I gathered a few Ghost Glove Words to upgrade the Dung Eater puppet to +10. I paused Ranni's quest for now to take on Patches. It felt more of a mercy killing, but defeating him allows us to obtain his Bow Bearing, which we can use to purchase Margit's Shackle, an item that we can use against Margit. With tougher bosses ahead, I decided it was time to upgrade our armor. This outfit not only offers great defense, but it also looks fantastic. How would you rate this fit? Let me know in the comments below. I needed to fill the slot for our fourth talisman, so I headed to fight Moog the Omen beneath Leyndell. I summoned our trusty puppet, the Dung Eater, who excels at distracting Moog, allowing us to cast our spells freely. With our combined efforts, we managed to defeat down the boss on our first attempt. Defeating Moog earned us the Erdtree Favor Talisman +1, which increases our health and stamina and equip load. With all the preparations we made, I felt ready to take on our fourth Remembrance boss, Margit the Omen King. I've summoned Malenia to help us distract him, and use Margit's Shackle to stun the boss momentarily. This allowed me to summon the Dung Eater for extra support. We can stand Margit twice during his first phase. With the combined force of Malenia and the Dung Eater, I had all the time I needed to cast my spells, and we managed to take down the deserving king, Margit, on her first attempt. If I had a chance to progress without defeating Margit, I'd take it in a heartbeat. He is one of my favorite characters, second only to Radahn. From here on, we'll be facing some intimidating enemies, so I needed stronger spells. I first spoke with the primeval sorcerer Azur to acquire the best spell in the game, Comet Azur. Let me demonstrate the power of this spell. It's about as close to a Kami Kamehameha as we can get outside of Dragon Ball. There's another scepter that I can use to further boost our magic damage. I traveled to Cilia City and broke the seal by lighting 3 towers. I then fought the Nox Sorceress and Monk, defeating them on our first attempt. This victory allowed us to loot the chest containing the Great Scepter, Lusat's Glintstone Staff. This staff increases spell damage, but consumes more mana. To counteract the high mana consumption, I faced the Ulcerated Tree Spirit under Volcano Manor, which we defeated on our first attempt. This battle rewarded us with a Cerulean Hidden Tear, granting us infinite mana for a short period of time. Finally, I ventured into the Academic Crystal Cave in Lernium to challenge the Crystallian duo. With the Dung Eater's help, we took them down on our first attempt. This victory cleared the path to a chest containing the spell Terra Magica. Casting the spell creates an area that enhances our magic damage while we stand within it. Now, to demonstrate how we utilize all of this, we'll test it out on an Erdtree avatar. I'll first cast Terra Magica, then drink my Wondrous Physic for infinite mana, and unleash Comet Azure on the poor guy. As you can see, the combo is incredibly deadly, but it does have a weakness. It takes some time to set up, and there's a significant chance to miss since you can adjust the direction of the beam. To continue Ranni's questline, I returned to Nokran to speak with Ranni Dahl. After exhausting all her dialogue, I faced Blight. With a heavy heart, I managed to take him down on our first attempt. Next, I tackled our 5th Remembrance boss, Estelle. I summoned the Dung Eater to distract the boss, while I used Estelle's own gravity magic against him. With multiple rock slings, we took him down on our first attempt. Afterwards, I went back to Renala's room and opened a chest to retrieve the Dark Moon Ring, then met up with Ranni in a cave where we proposed and married her, completing the setup for her ending. Now, we need Alexander to help us fight the next Remembrance boss. I first spoke with him in Radahn's arena, before heading to the Seedwater Terminus to battle the Magma Worm. We defeated this boss on our first attempt, and afterward, we spoke with Alexander, who is swimming in lava to strengthen himself. With everything set up, we can now face our 6th Remembrance boss, the Fire Giant. I summoned Alexander and the Dung Eater to assist us in the fight. With the boss distracted, I was able to cast most of my spells freely. It was a bit challenging to hit him, but the spell magic Glint Blade was excellent in tracking, allowing us to bring him down to his second phase. I executed my combo by casting Terra Magica, drinking my infinite mana, and unleashing Comet Azure right at the Fire Giant. While it was effective, we ultimately fell short and he took us down. On my second attempt, I switched to Lusat's staff to boost our magic damage. I focused on casting Rock Sling at his feet. And after some persistence, we got him back to his second phase. Thanks to Lusat's spell, our combo dealt more damage, and with our second shot of Comet Azure, we finally took down the Fire Giant on our second attempt. Now we're faced with one of the canonical events in Elden Ring, where our maiden must sacrifice herself to burn the Earth Tree. Even though I'm married to Ranni, I still care for Malenia. Transported to Farum Azula, we now confront one of the most annoying bosses, Godskin Duo. I mentally prepared myself for a lengthy battle, but to my surprise, it went smoothly. With the Dung Eater's help, we managed to stay under the radar and cast magic glint blade from a distance. After taking down the fat one, I turned my attention to the skinny one and unleashed my Comet Azure combo, which obliterated him. As soon as the fat one resurrected, I focused on firing my magic glint blade at him, and defeated them on our first attempt, an unsuspected win. I've always had trouble with the 7th Remembrance boss, Maliketh, in my previous runs. This time I made sure to summon the Dung Eater behind a pillar, allowing me to stay at a safe distance from the beast's clergyman while casting my spells. Eventually we pushed through to his second phase. Knowing I couldn't afford to be hit by Maliketh even one, I waited patiently to align myself for the Comet Azure combo. With perfect accuracy, I managed to take down Maliketh on her first attempt. And I was genuinely surprised by the outcome. Feeling confident, I immediately moved on to the next boss, Gideon, the self-proclaimed all-knowing. I initially thought a single Comet Azure combo would finish him off, but even though it didn't, I still managed to take him down on a first try. Before facing the next boss, I retrieved the Earth Tree Favor Talisman +2. Fully equipped and ready, I took on our 8th Remembrance boss, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. I kept my distance, letting the Dung Eater engage him up close. I started by spamming Magic Glint Blade, one of my quicker spells. I then switched up to Rock Sling to stagger Godfrey. We eventually brought him down to his second phase. And while I tried to execute my Comet Azure combo, Harulu kept moving away. I quickly returned to spamming my reliable Rock Sling. And managed to defeat him on her first attempt. I reached the hard cap for intelligence at +80, so it was time to use the intelligence knot tier. To do this, I faced the Earth Tree Avatar at Leyndell, which we took down with a single blast of Comet Azure, earning us the Magic Shroud Crack tier to enhance our magic damage. Next, I was ready to prove my worth as an Elden Lord by taking on Radahn, the edgelord of the lands between. I primarily used the combination of Rock Sling and Magic Blade against him, and eventually we emerged victorious. With Radahn defeated, I faced the god of this world and our 9th Remembrance boss, the Elden Beast. I initiated the fight with my Comet Azure combo, but the Elden Beast kept dodging my blast and eventually killed me with its own attack. On my second attempt, I focused on using Rock Sling against Radahn again, managing to bring him down. When facing the Elden Beast for the second time, I realized Comet Azure was an
very effective, so I switched to a combination of magic glintstone, blade, and rock sling. The Dung Eater proved invaluable in this fight, soaking up damage and even tanking the Elden Star's attack. With patience and careful timing, we defeated the Elden Beast on our second attempt, proving we were worthy of becoming an Elden Lord. But our journey doesn't end here. Let's see how far we can go as we challenge our 10th Remembrance boss, Mohg, Lord of Blood. I summoned my loyal companion, the Dung Eater, and begun by casting Magic Glint Blade on Mohg. I attempted my Comet combo early on, but Mohg stepped back and dodged it. Switching strategies, I focused on Rock Sling, which surprisingly proved very effective due to its decent damage and staggering potential. With this simple approach, we took him down on our first attempt. Feeling confident and eager to continue my streak, I faced our 11th Remembrance boss, the Ancient Regal Ancestor. This fight didn't pose much of a challenge. I relied on my ever-reliable Rock Sling and took him down in one attempt. However, I had second thoughts about the next enemy, the 12th Remembrance boss, Rykard. This boss is often seen as a gimmick, and it's recommended to use the Serpent Hunter Spear provided when entering the arena, but I was determined to test the limits of my build. I donned some of Leyndell's armor for its high fire damage resistance. I primarily used Rock Sling paired with Terra Magica spell, maintaining a safe distance from the snake, which could easily take me out. We gradually wore down Rykard and reached the second phase. I attempted my Comet combo, but it only chipped away a quarter of his health, so I switched back to the Rock Sling for its higher staggering potential. Just when I thought I was overdue to his call attacks, I managed to survive. And continued bombarding Rykard with rocks, defeating him on my first attempt. Feeling invincible, I decided to take on our 13th Remembrance boss, the Dragonlord Azula. As soon as the fight began, I rushed them to the dragon's back and set up my Comet combo, which luckily took away half of its health. Switching back to my trusty Rock Sling, a few more casts allowed us to defeat the Dragon Lord on our first attempt. Before we take on our next boss, I had to clear out some of Fia's simps. Once those nuisances were dealt with, I left ready to confront our 14th Remembrance boss, Leech Dragon 40 sacks. I strategically waited for the Dung Eater to draw the dragon's attention. Channeling my inner Gojo from JJK, I unleashed my domain, Terra Magica, and began bombarding the dragon with a barrage of purple rock slings. I sealed the deal with a powerful blue blast, taking down the Lich Dragon on our first attempt, just like Gojo. With only one Remembrance boss left to face, I set off to her domain. My first stop was to collect the first half of the secret medallion from a local NPC. Next, I had to battle Commander O'Neill. I faced more trouble from a banished knight who blocked my path to the boss arena, nearly drawing the Dung Eater's focus away from the fight. After a tough skirmish, I managed to eliminate his summons, then unleash my full combo of Comet Azure. We almost finished him with one blast, but he managed to jump away. Ultimately, victory was mine. After defeating O'Neill, I acquired the second half of the secret medallion, granting us access to the consecrated snowfield. There, I traversed through the snowy fog to reach a tower where we need to summon an imp to break the seal. At the top, we claimed our final talisman, the Graven Mass Talisman, which enhances our magic damage. Next, we completed the puzzle in the area by lighting 3 candles, which opened the portal to the Haligtree. There, we faced one last minor boss before the main event, Loretta. Using her own spell against her, Loretta's Great Bow, along with a full blast of Comet Azure combo, we took her down on her first attempt. Now we stand before the final challenge, the 15th Remembrance boss, Malenia, Blade of Nicola. Our goal is her defeat. As always, I kept my distance, allowing the Dung Eater to do his part while I cast the spells from afar, combining with Terra Magica and Rock Sling. I dealt solid damage and staggered her a few times. Just when I thought we might make it to her second phase, she unleashed her most dangerous attack, the Waterfowl Dance. To my surprise, she targeted me instead of the Dung Eater. On my second attempt, I made sure to stay further away, spamming my spells safely. When she charged at me, I deftly ran away and successfully reached her second phase. As soon as she landed from her attack, I casted my Comet Azure combo, stripping away a significant chunk of her health. She retaliated with another Rock Blossom attack, which actually worked in our favor. We finished the fight with the MVP spell of our run, Rock Sling Baby. With Malenia defeated, we can finally celebrate our triumph together with our wife, Ranni. It's time to usher the new age of the moon in the lands between. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of my mage build and found some tips that might help you in your own journey through the lands between, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more Elden Ring content. Share your own favorite spells and strategy in the comments below. I'd love to hear what works for you. And if you're looking for more builds and guides, check out my other videos. Until next time, keep casting those spells and may your path be ever illuminated. King Koi out, you guys have a good one, and if I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
If you haven't